What an accomplishment. That is really something to be proud of. And I'm not talking about Dawn Staley and her Lady Cox dominating the Huskers last night to advance to the national championship, securing another chance of winning the most coveted prize in all of women's basketball. But Uncle Casey, I thought the most coveted prize in all of women's basketball was winning the WNBA Finals. They actually give the winning team a trophy at the collegiate level. The winner of the WNBA Finals, they just win a supersized pooper. Sure, it's platinum coated, or they go with the golden toilet in lean years when the WNBA is losing $50 million instead of their usual $10 million. But either way, Dawn Staley and the Lady Cox, they are once again competing for the national championship in women's basketball. But that is not the accomplishment that I am referring to. I am referring to Dawn Staley boasting about the fact that she can beat Geno Auriemma's ass. I will put a bruise on that caboose. She's bragging about the fact that she can physically dominate a 72-year-old man. All kidding aside, I understand why Dawn Staley was pissed off last night. Initially, when I saw the clip of this fight circulating on Twitter, because obviously I didn't waste my time by watching this game live. Initially, I thought Dawn Staley was having another one of her classic emotional meltdowns. I figured that she was accusing Geno Auriemma of mythical racism or mythical misogyny. He congratulated me and told me I was a great women's coach. This compliment was obviously rooted in white privilege and toxic masculinity. How come he didn't say I was a great basketball coach? Why did he make it a point to highlight my gender? But once I looked into it and I got the full story, I completely understand why Dawn Staley reacted the way that she did. She was justified in her reaction. After the game, Geno Auriemma spoke to the media. The very first question they asked was about his altercation with Dawn Staley, which was the only interesting thing about the Final Four, and you could even make a strong case that the catfight between Dawn Staley and Geno Auriemma, it's been the only interesting thing so far about the women's tournament. Have you seen some of the scores from what the mainstream media erroneously refers to as March Madness? Going into halftime last night, the score in Texas UCLA, it was 20-17. A real offensive masterclass. Yeah, it was damn sure offensive. And it's no coincidence that all four number one seeds advanced to the Final Four in the women's tournament. We'll go more into that here in just a second, but here is what Geno Auriemma said about his altercation with Dawn Staley. Listen to his reasoning for starting this catfight. Watch it for yourself.
Protocol is before the game, you meet at half court. Anybody ever see that before? Two coaches meet at half court and they shake hands. They announce it on the loudspeaker. And I waited there for like 3 minutes. So it is what it is.
According to Geno Auriemma, this is an issue of sportsmanship. This is about respect. According to Geno, Dawn Staley disrespected him and the game by refusing to meet him at half court and shake hands before the game started. I don't know if Geno Auriemma knows this, but the game last night was nationally televised. I know women's basketball is used to being played in empty arenas with no cameras present, but with the mainstream media trying to convince us that women's basketball is amazing, these women are huge stars. With the media trying to convince us that women's basketball is must-see TV, the games are nationally televised, which means There are multiple cameras capturing every interaction, and a camera caught this interaction before the game last night. Check it out for yourself. Now, as you can see, Dawn Staley clearly meets Geno Auriemma at half court and damn near shakes the wrinkles off of his hands. It seems to me that Geno Auriemma is being a sore loser. He was also blaming the referees. He was insinuating that the officials were one-sided in the game last night. He used to have a similar rivalry with the legendary Pat Summitt. So maybe Geno Auriemma is doing this intentionally. Maybe he noticed that there were no storylines in the women's tournament. Maybe he noticed that there was nothing to talk about. So Geno Auriemma manufactured some drama to elevate women's basketball into the national conversation. If that's the case, it definitely worked. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about a couple of woke politicians being booed out of Fenway Park. The Red Sox had their home opener yesterday afternoon. For reasons unknown, they decided to invite the doofus mayor of Boston along with the super doofus governor. The doofus duo, they were on the field telling fans, "It's time to play ball. In the spirit of equity and inclusion, I hope it's a tie game so both teams can go home feeling like winners." Naturally, the mayor, the governor, they were damn near booed out of Fenway Park. But to make matters worse, the local TV broadcast seemed to temper the sound of the boo so people couldn't hear it clearly at home. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Headline at Yahoo Sports: March Madness expansion? NCAA shocking 76-team field to make this a super duper March Madness. With March Madness being in the headline of the article, I naturally thought they were talking about March Madness. But as it turns out, the NCAA is also looking to expand the women's tournament to 76 teams, and I can't figure out why. Like I said earlier, have you seen the scores of some of these games, especially in the earlier rounds of the tournament? In the women's tournament, the average margin of victory in the first round, 24 points. There were some real nail biters in the second round where games were decided by an average of 20 points. Sweet 16, 16 points. Elite 8, 23 points. Final 4, 10 points. You're wanting to expand this tournament? Why? If anything, the NCAA should be looking to shrink the size of the women's tournament. And it's for the exact same reason that I don't understand why they're expanding the WNBA. There is not enough talent to warrant expansion. Women's basketball is incredibly top-heavy. The top 4, maybe the top 8 teams in the country, they are significantly better than everyone else. The Lady Cocks from South Carolina, they have not played a competitive game since the SEC tournament. They are beating teams by an average of 35 points a game in the women's tournament. Who in the hell wants to see more of this? But Uncle KC, the ratings for the women's tournament are great! Women's basketball is hot, hot, hot! Just because ratings have improved, that does not mean the product has improved. I might be a bit biased here because I am not a fan of women's basketball, and it's not because I'm a misogynist. It's not because I don't want to see the ladies succeed. I'm not a fan of women's basketball for the same reason that I'm not watching the NBA right now. The product sucks. Just because something has good ratings, that does not mean it's a good product. The WWE averages 2-3 million viewers every Monday night on Netflix, and most of the dingleberry divers who watch orchestrated combat, they complain about the substandard product. Hell, they can't even sell out WrestleMania, their biggest event of the year. It's a week, maybe 2 weeks away. There are still thousands of tickets available. Think about it. We are 3 weeks into the women's tournament. Before the catfight between Dawn Staley and Geno Auriemma last night, how often have you heard about women's basketball? I do this all day, every day. I am looking for stories 7 days a week. In 3 weeks, I have barely heard a damn thing about the women's tournament. When I get on Twitter, I see clips of the real March Madness. I see people complaining about the NBA, but at least they're talking about it. I see people complaining about the NFL continuing to water down the regular season, but I have barely heard a damn thing about the women's tournament. People aren't talking about it because there has been minimal excitement. And the reason there's been minimal excitement is because most of these games are blowouts. And you want to expand it? They shouldn't expand the men's tournament either. I don't understand this sudden need in sports to fix something that's not broken. The NFL keeps fixing their regular season, which has been working well for decades. The NFL seems hell-bent on destroying scarcity by offering us more of their product. And the NCAA wants to do the same thing with March Madness. Have they never heard of the old adage, less is more? NIL is making it damn near impossible for mid-major teams to compete. If you look at the field of teams in March Madness, especially in the early rounds, there are a lot of mid-major teams. For decades, this tournament has been one of the highlights of the year. The formula works. 64 teams, single elimination tournament. There's no need to water it down by adding another 12 teams. And they're not doing this for the fans. They're not doing this to give more opportunities to players. Sports in this country are being ruined by greed. The NCAA, along with the networks, they're only doing this for money. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.